Okay, I'd like to talk about my religion. And first of all, I'd like to talk about experience I had when I was 22. I'm now 44. As you can see, I'm bald. In those days, I had hair. And it was when I was living in a flat in London. And I suddenly realised that, at least until that moment in time, I was gay. As a revelation came upon me, all of a shock. I am gay, and I want to have a guy. Huh. Okay, but that isn't really the thing I want to talk about, I think. Or maybe it is. Doesn't matter. But in that split second, 2 seconds maybe, I went completely mad. And I saw a different side of myself than I'd ever experienced before. And there were 3 or 4 parts to that experience. They are: number 1, that the person that I'd identified with up till that point in time, or indeed perhaps the person I identify with even now, was merely my self-speech. I think we all speak to ourselves inside our head. And there are a lot of psychologists that tell us that, narrative psychologists that tell us that the self and our self-narrative, the words that we say to ourselves in silence inside our head, are ourselves. That I only read about them afterwards, but at the time, it seemed to me that I sort of distanced myself from those words. That the words seemed to be just like a glove puppet, a sort of I don't know, an irrelevance. And that there was another part of me, a much, much bigger me, and I didn't really get to grips with it at all, but another me that was also there, that was vast. That's all I can really say about it. It was a sort of another me that was sort of watching, but also at the same time doing it, I suppose. The puppeteer, but just a sort of a vastness. I better leave that guy aside. Okay, so there was this speech. Hello, Tim. I am thinking inside my head. And until then, and now, other than those 2 seconds of madness, I've always thought that I am the speech inside my head. Okay. Probably think it now, not sure. But in that 2 seconds of madness, it seems to me that was just, I'm just sort of words inside my head. And another thing, there was also a kind of listener. So there was this sort of vast puppeteer me. The only thing I can say about that guy was he was big. And there was also a listener. So it was a kind of like a Punch and Judy show. There was the, hello, I'm thinking now, and whatever. And also, there was this person that was also not there, another puppet, that all their role was to do was to listen. And that person was mainly modelled upon my mother. It was like, inside my head, I was playing this Punch and Judy show based upon a voice, me, and a imitation of my mother. So, inside my head, I was playing this sort of a drama with 2 personae and only 1 actor. The 1 actor was the vast guy, and the 2 personae was a voice and a listener. Both those 2 don't really exist. The only one that exists is this other vast person. And there's this guy talking, and there's this person that he pretends is listening. Or there's this guy that ventriloquizes, speaks off. In other words, like if I sort of ventriloquize, I think ventriloquy should be a really religious thing. Like if I make my hand a puppet, and I go, hello, hand, hello, hand. Then obviously, the real me is this guy here, and the hand is not really speaking at all. But it's like that the real me was ventriloquizing a person and also creating an ear, likewise non-existent. Actually, wave my finger now, a bit like a ventriloquist, because a ventriloquist, when they come on stage, they often come on stage as a personae. They become on stage as, say, a buffoon, and then they talk to a puppet. So they're acting the buffoon, and they're also acting the puppet. But there's also the guy that when he goes home to his kids and his wife or whatever, he knows that he's not the buffoon or the puppet. It was that kind of thing. It was like the puppeteer and two puppets. One of the puppets was a voice, the other puppet was an ear to the voice. Okay, so it was kind of in three parts. Yeah? Kind of in three parts. There's also, for all those Christians out there, you'll like this one, there's also a sense of loss. There's also a sense that someone was not in the room. That the reason why I had gone completely crazy was because I had lost my faith in God. That was the feeling of it. By the way, I've been brought up as a half-Christian. One of my parents is an atheist, the other one is a kind of Christian person. Not sure. And it seemed to me that in that split second that I'd lost the God bit. I'm not sure what the God bit is. Maybe a father also listening to, or I don't know. Stuff it. No, that's probably really important. But all I want to say is that even now, this guy that's going to put this damn silly video on YouTube, I'm looking at my face on the damn screen. Hello? That I don't believe in myself in a way. I think that if I do this again, I want to talk about Buddhism. But, because Buddhism is about not believing in yourself. But it's all started with this experience of feeling that I was a gigantic, invisible puppeteer that was creating was throwing his voice and believing that it was himself, and at the same time creating an ear for that voice. Okay. That's about it. And so, what the hell? Well, the thing is, I still believe it. I still believe that, that the person I think of myself as being me, maybe still be the voice, and that I'm probably still creating this ear to listen to myself, and that neither of them are the real me, so that I'm distanced from the real me. So sometimes I consider becoming a hard-on Buddhist and trying to get salvation and enlightenment and Om, or whatever it's called. But at other times I don't, mainly. Other times I make YouTube videos about that experience. But I would like to go on in my next video to talk about what I think about this experience. But that's about it for this evening. Was that at all communicative? I've no idea. Thanks.